Hello and welcome everyone to this edition of our Tri Talks, where we take a few minutes to introduce an event that takes place in the province of Alberta this coming summer. I'm your host, Sebastian Port, and I'm the Executive Director with Triathlon Alberta, and with me today is Stephen Bordeaux, who is the General Manager with PTO Edmonton Canadian Open. For over 2 decades, Edmonton has set the stage for the world's best triathletes to go head-to-head in epic battles that have crowned heroes of the sport. This triathlon-loving city will be making history this year at the inaugural PTO Canadian Open. So, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the Canadian Open?
Thanks, Sebastian. Thanks for having me. A bit about myself. I'm general manager for Due North Events and who's putting on the PTO Canadian Open this summer. And people know us best as ITU Edmonton. Put it on 20 years of World Triathlon ITU level events, all the way from Continental Cups to World Cups to Junior Cups to Championships, World Championships. We've got a very supportive community and group at Edmonton, and we kind of dub ourselves Tri-Town Canada, which is pretty exciting. And we're really excited about what our 2022 edition of our event. We've signed on with PTO, the Professional Triathletes Organization, to bring something new and to the community. New courses, and new brands, new race formats, and yeah, we're really excited. PTO is I think most people in the triathlon world know PTO by now. Essentially, it's a not-for-profit group of professional triathletes, mostly long course, but also some short course stars, and that really are trying to disrupt and change the sport of triathlon and bring a new product to the arena, which is their very own PTO Tour. So the PTO Tour will grow to 4 events only every year. And it's sort of, they take it off the model of golf and tennis, where there's 4 majors, 4 big events that, have the prize money. It's got the television, it's got the helicopters, it's got the big spectators, it's got all the components to the big show to attract those best long distance athletes. And we're very excited. In Edmonton, we signed on, and we will be the first ever PTO Tour event. So a little bit of history making in Edmonton and Alberta really again. Exciting. And so it'll be something to see. We're really excited, and I hope Albertans come out and triathletes come out and be a part of history.
So that's a really great little rundown of the event. What kind of inspired you to be that race director and taking on these massively large scale events?
Yeah, what's funny? I did not go to school to become a race director or even an event person, and I just sort of fell into it. I didn't even know it was a career option. As a summer student at university, I started working for this organization back in the early 2000s, helping out, and then got my first job on with World Triathlon Edmonton. And from there, I just took to it. It's events, things I like. I've been doing events for over 20 years now. And the thing I love most about them is that, I'm in events, I'm in the same career path, but every 2 or 3 years, it's a new event. It's new people, it's a new challenge, it's a new project to work towards. And that's probably the thing I love most about race director and events. And for sure, big events. I've always sort of focused on delivering major events, World Championships, World Cups, games, events. And it's there's nothing more rewarding than all that hard work and effort that you put in for months and years leading up to a major event, and that payoff once the event is successful and delivered, and everybody can come down and share a beer and reflect on a job well done and an accomplishment that's been made.
So you touched on a little bit on that history of that PTO, but what kind of brought them here to Edmonton?
Well, it's funny. It's we did the World Triathlon Championship finals last year, bubble sort of format. And during the event, I was kind of asked 2 questions more often than not. One question was any COVID, any problems? And we didn't have a single COVID case, which tied the event, which is huge. But then the second question I got asked, probably just as much, if not more, was, what's next? What's next for the organization? Are you going to do a World Cup? Are you going to continue with World Triathlon? Are you going to, what's going to happen? And we had been approached by a few different triathlon groups to look at bringing their product to Edmonton. And the one that stood out for us was PTO. They approached us through Paula Finley. Everybody knows Paula in Edmonton, who's a good friend of our organization. And she's also on the board of directors for PTO. And we just started chatting, and she sort of told me about this new vision that this group was working on with, creating a long distance triathlon product that was built for the athletes, by the athletes, that would have major impact in communities wherever they go. And as we started talking more and more about their vision and idea, it pretty much lined up perfectly with our vision, which was to continue major triathlon in Edmonton, showcase Edmonton around the world with broadcast, attract the best athletes, but really get back more to, a grassroots type of event, more community focused, an event built by Edmonton, for Edmonton, that really showcased Edmonton, the River Valley. The courses could be what we want them to be. The event personality can be what we want it to be and not so typecast. And the more we talked, the more we found out that, this was not by accident that Paula had reached out and we started these conversations, but PTO had targeted Edmonton to come on to their tour long before we even started these conversations. And so we were super stoked when we found this out, talked to the city, and everybody was on board, all our stakeholders and partners, including you guys and Triathlon Canada. So we're able to bring this vision to life.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. What kind of distances are you kind of offering for this inaugural Canadian Open event?
Yeah, so the PTO has two proprietary distances. They've got the 100K and the 25K. So the 100K is kind of their benchmark distance. That's what the pros race. It's a 2-kilometer swim, an 80-kilometer bike, non-draft legal, and an 18-kilometer run. And that's their signature distance. But they know as part of these events, they want to grow the sport of triathlon and they want to get more people involved. So they also offer a 25K distance, which is a 500-meter swim, a 20-kilometer bike, and a 4.5K run thereabouts. So pretty much a sprint. So it's kind of like a long distance, middle distance, and then a sprint. And then something that was important to us in Edmonton and to our group was to also offer youth and junior races. So we do have a junior category, a draft legal junior category, as part of the National Development Series, as well as we're trying to move it towards a Pan American Junior Cup event. Hopefully we'll get there before the summer. And then on top of that program, it's important for PTO and for us to continue to offer, non-triathlon opportunities around the race with an open water swim on the Friday night, which will be 1 lap or 3 laps. So roughly 750 meters or 2250 will be the distances there. As well as a splash and dash for kids. We have our Kids of Steel that we always run in June in the lead up to the event, as well as other activities down in the park, and just sort of a celebration of sport and endurance sport for the weekend.
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a festival atmosphere kind of thing. Like fun for the whole family.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We try and build an event that's not just for triathletes, right? I mean, there's, as passionate and dedicated as triathletes are, it's a pretty small niche sort of community still. So we like to try and offer an event, a broader event that's for all Edmontonians to come down and enjoy. And I think this year, especially with Paula racing as part of it, I think the crowd should be pretty major, and we want people to come down and cheer her on. She's tagged Edmonton as her A priority race for the year. She loves, she's raced here in the past under ITU and World Triathlon, but she's always had very mixed results. Whereas, she's very fit at the moment. She's very fast. She's healthy. She's doing really great in her training. And so she wants to put on a show for Edmontonians.
Oh, that'll be really interesting to see. Can you tell us a little bit about like the world qualification spots that you had picked up for the long distance and any other kind of tidbits of information for our viewers and listeners?
Yeah. So we're really excited that as part of the age group 100K race, that we will be having 2 qualifying spots per age group for men and women for the 2023 World Long Distance Championships. Which is, I think one of the only opportunities in Western Canada for athletes to qualify for the long distance champs in 2023. So that's super cool. And, PTO, even though they're not a World Triathlon event, they're still under the governing body of World Triathlon. So it was important to them to continue that tie and support long distance racing and triathlon as a whole. That's why we're doing the junior event. That's why we're doing the kids events, and we're doing, these qualifying spots on top of the pros and the age group races. So that's really exciting. And then, I think the venue for this year is our good old Steadfast Horlack Park, but it's a little bit of a different course, just with the distances that we have to achieve. It is a lapped course, but it's a 20K bike lap, so it's our traditional River Valley, but it stretches out into downtown and connects through the ledge grounds and that area, as well as more of the university area for the racers. And then our run, we're really excited about the run this year. We're actually going to venture over the river and through Laurier Park and on the other side, which is something new for us. And we're really excited about to offer a new run course, because it was important to us that the event not be the exact same thing that we've always done, just adding more laps, that it is unique, it's special, it'll feel different, it'll look different. Even though it's at the same venue, it'll be very unique and, something that we've always dreamed and envisioned of doing, we're able to do and deliver now, which we're pretty stoked. July 3rd, 24th, this summer, we encourage people to sign up and race, of course. The more racers, the better. But, if they're not in good shape or they're not feeling it, or the distance don't quite play into their training and fitness, then, at least come down and watch, participate, and volunteer, bring the kids down, bring the family down and cheer on these amazing athletes, Paula and Lionel Saunders and Jan Frodeno and the Brownlee brothers, and Lucy Charles Barclay and Daniela Reed, like all these long distance stars that everybody's heard so much about and you see online and in the magazines. They'll all be in Edmonton. This is the whole point of the PTO, is that these 4 major events every year is where all these stars will gather and race against each other. So, it'll be top-notch competition in the long distance realm, and it'll be something to see for sure.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on Tri Talks. And we're really looking forward to seeing this inaugural Canadian Open